It comes as no surprise that the majority of those who love hand embroidery are old women. However, there are some young people, such as myself, who like it just as much. Embroidery is an interesting craft that offers a variety of benefits and is pretty easy to pick up. These benefits include stress relief and possible financial gain, both of which are things that can be useful to anyone headed off to college next year. I have been embroidering for 3 years, and I've learned a lot of helpful tips that I would like to share with you today. So today, I will teach you how to begin embroidering by familiarizing you with the materials needed to complete a project, how to cut and place fabric, and how to set up and choose the right needle. Alright, so while I am running out of storage for all my embroidery stuff, there's really not that many things that you need to begin. You need an embroidery hoop. This holds the fabric in place while you are stitching, and it's also acting as a frame, as you can see in the pieces that I've passed around. There are a couple different types of hoops. There's wood and plastic, but my favorite is wood. It bends easier with the fabric while you try to move it. They come in a lot of different sizes too. This is my largest, which is 12 inches, and my smallest, which is 3 inches. You use a larger hoop for a larger piece so you can see the whole thing while you're working on it. Next is some scissors. You will need some floss scissors. These are called embroidery scissors. They are super small and sharp and made for cutting the thread that you use. And these are fabric scissors. They're called pinking shears. They have a zigzag edge, kind of like craft scissors you would see in your mom's scrapbook room as a kid or whatever. And they are made so that the fabric doesn't fray while you're working. And next you will need some material to embroider on. I guarantee somebody in this room has embroidery on some part of their clothing. It's super common, but my favorite thing to embroider on is just plain old fabric. I get this cotton from Hobby Lobby. It's like $4 a yard, and it's super great. You will also need a needle. Embroidery needles are pretty small, and they have a slim body and a slim eye so that they don't leave holes in your tight fabric. They come in lots of different sizes, but about 1 inch to 2 inches is the best size to use. And lastly, you need some embroidery floss. I have all mine organized pretty in this box. It doesn't stay like this for very long, but it's 6-strand floss, and it's important to have floss that can separate so you can use different thicknesses for different designs. Alright, so we'll start cutting and placing the fabric. So I don't measure out anything before I begin. I'm just going to lay this scrap of fabric I have here. And today, for today's demonstration, I'm going to be using an 8-inch embroidery hoop, which is what that one with the flowers was. That's my most common size for orders in regular pieces. So I essentially just lay the hoop on there, and you want about 2 inches of wiggle room. And so for this, it would be about 1 square foot of fabric for an 8-inch hoop. And it doesn't have to be pretty because you cut off the excess once you finish the piece anyways. You just want enough room that you can move it around as you're working. Alright. So this is the not pretty square foot of fabric. It doesn't really matter what this looks like. And so now to place the fabric, we need to separate these 2 hoops. This is actually 2 hoops inside of each other, and you can unscrew the top hoop to take them apart. This is the inner hoop because it doesn't have a screw on the top. Top hoop has a screw. So we're going to slit the inner hoop down and lay this fabric about as centered as you can make it over the inner hoop. You're going to loosen the top hoop about as much as you can so it stretches apart like that, and lay it on top of the inner hoop and the fabric. So on the back side, you have the inner hoop, the fabric, and then the top hoop. Now you can't embroider on this because it's super loose. You have to tighten it before you can begin working. You're going to tighten this screw as much as you can, and then go around and pull every edge so that there's no ripples and it's about tight like a drum. You want it to be able where you can hit the center of it and that it doesn't come apart like that. So now that that's ready, I can show you how to thread a needle, which I'm sure you're all so excited to see. It's super fun. So I tend to work with about 4 feet of thread, and I pre-cut this piece so it's going to come out. Or not. Okay, so about 4 feet of thread, so then you get about 2 feet once you fold it over your needle. And like I was saying earlier, this is 6-strand floss. You probably can't see, but at the end it separates into 6 little strands. Separating your floss and using different thicknesses are super important for a good design. You can use a lot, like all strands of floss like this for like a design, a bigger piece, and using a lot of strands is like typing in a bold font. It's harder to detail with, but it sticks out more. So for today, I will just show you how to thread 1 strand of floss. We take our 1 strand, we separate it, and our needle, if I don't stab myself, and smooth out the end so it doesn't fray and it goes straight through. can tie off the end, and then you are ready to begin stitching. So, I have shown you today how the basics of embroidery by familiarizing you with the materials you need, how to cut and place fabric, and also showing you how to set up and choose a needle. I encourage all of you to try to learn something new this year. College is going to be a busy time, so if learning something new is a priority for you, you should really start to do it now. Thank you all for your time.